Hello my darlings, this is Ruthie here, and I want to tell you about the first time God ever spoke to me. Now, I was only 6 years old when this happened, and it was a remarkable experience. I was lying in my bed when I heard this little voice on my inside, and I didn't think it was my thoughts. And then I remember the story of Samuel, and I thought, maybe it's God speaking to me. So the next morning I got up and I went through to my mum and I said, Mum, I heard this voice last night, and I think it might be God. And she said, I'm sure it is God. And whatever he tells you, you need to do. So I took that very seriously. I felt very special. God was speaking to me. Well, the next night he came back and he told me something he wanted me to do. This was the first ever instruction God gave me directly. Do you know what he told me to do? He said, you need to start listening to your mother. That was a very hard instruction for me. I found my mother to be completely unreasonable. She expected me to help set the table and study my lessons, and sometimes she even made me fold up towels in the washing pile. But I felt very special that God had spoken to me, and I decided I was going to try my very best to obey him. So I tried. I tried to listen to my mum, and do you know what? I couldn't do it. I just found it too hard. So I went back to God and I said to him, I'm really sorry. I've tried to be obedient, but I don't know how. Do you know something? That was the best prayer I could have prayed. After I prayed that, he started to help me, and I suddenly found it much, much easier to obey my mum. And years later, she said to me, you know, you were quite a difficult kid to raise until you turned 6 years old, and then something happened, and I don't know what, but you were a very easy kid to raise after that. And I said to her, well, I said, that's actually because God came and told me that I needed to obey you. So I don't know what instructions God will give you when you start hearing his voice, but I do know this: you are never too young to hear the voice of the Lord. In fact, it's actually easier to hear his voice when you're young because you don't have all the confusing stuff that adults have going on. It's quite hard for adults. So I want you to practice hearing the voice of the Lord, and like my mum said, whatever he tells you to do, you do it, because there is nothing better than knowing the Lord and being his friend. Love you. Bye-bye.